Now, big news breaking today. I've only just seen it, but it was announced a few hours ago. Tyson Fury versus AJ is finally confirmed for Q4 this year, which is like obviously like the final 3 months of the year. So sometime over October, November, December, maybe a Christmas time clash. For me, my initial thoughts on it, I am buzzing. It's going to be obviously arguably the biggest boxing match in British boxing history. For me, it felt like this is the best time it could have been done outside of a few years ago when they both had all the belts. It felt like if it didn't get done this time, it was never going to get done, or it would have been too late, say if they did it next year or the year after. Maybe a bit like Mayweather versus Pacquiao. That felt like that was just a few years too late for it. I think this probably was it. AJ versus Fury fight was probably at its peak pre-Usyk domination, when obviously Usyk came up and basically just showed everyone he's the number one in the world. He literally dismantled the best of the British and the best of world boxing, really. Came up from cruiserweight, and I love Usyk. Usyk is incredible. Like, his boxing IQ is, the fact he could outbox Tyson Fury says everything. Like, Tyson Fury's boxing IQ is sensational, but the fact, for me, Usyk just, and I know Tyson Fury said he felt he won the first fight, but for me, I'm not a boxing purist by any stretch of imagination. I love boxing, but for me, yeah, Usyk outboxed Tyson. He outboxed AJ, and he deservedly unified the division. He did beat Daniel Dubois controversially. Was Dubois not down or not? Was it below the belt? But yeah, Usyk's just come up, dismantled the best of Britain, and conquered the heavyweight division. So fair play to Usyk. But yeah, Fury and AJ finally confirmed. Like I say, for me, I think it's been made at the best time it could have been post the belts. When they both holding the belts, that would have been the best time. If they could have fought to unify the division, that felt like the perfect time. Obviously, it's good to see the announcement. Like I say, it does say Q4, but there's a couple of things I've noted on it. Obviously, there's no date initially, which I'm guessing they're still hashing out. There's no venue/location being confirmed. So is it going to be in Britain/England, like Wembley, or is it going to be in Saudi? Because I imagine Turkey Al-Sheikh's involved. For me, I think it can't not be in Britain. It's the biggest British boxing bout of all time. Definitely the biggest heavyweight bout of all time, arguably the biggest bout of all time. And for me, I think to not have it in Britain wouldn't make sense. And would be a bit of an insult to the British boxing fans and the boxing community, I think, to have two home champions, people's champions, legacy champions, not fighting the hometown. So for me, I feel it has to be in the UK, and if it is, I mean, it has to be Wembley, 80,000 strong. That atmosphere, I will do my absolute best to go to that. I'll sit in the gods, I don't care what it costs, just to feel that atmosphere. I've never been to like a live premium boxing event, and I feel like, yeah, if I can go to one, I hope to that. But the only thing I'm thinking, for me, is, I know AJ said it post Fury's last fight, is that when it seemed like Turk Al-Sheikh said they had a big announcement, and Tyson Fury wanted to announce, it felt like they all wanted to announce that it was going to be him versus AJ, but when the camera panned to AJ was just sat very nonchalant, very casually in his chair, and saying, to Fury, this is your night, enjoy your night, and this and that. And I get that side of things, and Fury was obviously, he just had come out of a fight, adrenaline was flowing, he was riled up, he was ready, he's like, I'll have you big bum dasher, and all that good stuff. Classic Tyson. I do love Tyson Fury. I love AJ as well. And then AJ did an interview post that event, post that sort of interaction with Tyson with DAZN, where he said, for him, he's been here 100 times with Fury, with Wilder, and until it's signed and until they're in the ring, he's not going to say anything, which I fully get. I could imagine, as the fans, we don't really see a lot of what goes on behind the scenes, and I feel like the boxing world can be probably a very seedy place at times, a very dark place in a sense in terms of business and things like that. And I understand AJ Fury, AJ Wilder, probably all the big fights all come for a sit down, because obviously it's going to bring money, attention. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to jump on it, for like promoters to advertisers, streaming services. Well, it's on Netflix. It's confirmed it's on Netflix. So I do understand AJ's hesitancy of, I've been here before. And for AJ, you got to think he has been through a major traumatic event in the the past few months, in the car accident in Africa, where obviously sadly lost 2 of his friends, his brothers. So obviously, no doubt AJ's contending with that. Obviously Tyson had a fight recently. I think, is AJ having a warm-up fight before that? I can't remember if that has been said or not. Let's have a quick Google. Oh yeah, so AJ on the 25th of July is fighting a guy called Prenga as a comeback fight. So obviously that in a sense would be AJ's warm-up fight. Obviously, I think the Tyson Fury fight sealed anyway, irrelevant of the outcome of that, but you feel like AJ has to win that to carry the momentum and obviously keep the fight at the height and stature it is. Obviously, if he sort of lost his comeback fight, I don't know much about that Prenga, but I feel like that would take a bit over AJ's side. But either way, for me, it's going to be the biggest British boxing fight of all time. Definitely the biggest heavyweight fight of all time. In terms of like British boxing fight, bigger. I don't know what really feels bigger. Like when you think of like British box fight, I think one of the first that comes to your mind is Nigel Benn and Chris Eubank. Obviously, they're great fights. But yeah, for me, if I had to make a prediction who's going to win the fight though, AJ versus Fury. Sounds a bit cliche, but it's heavyweight boxing. All it takes is that one punch. For me, gut instinct, I think Fury. I think if historically, Fury's shown that he can go to the trenches. If you look at the first fight of Wilder, when he took that shot in the final round and somehow rose like the Undertaker, I feel like, for me, Fury's just got something God-given in the sense of like natural instinct when it comes to fighting, that kill or be kill mode. You see it in some of his fights where you see it in his eyes, he goes into that sort of wild fighting gypsy mode. That it's something you can't teach someone. It's something that's just in your nature, and I think for me that will carry Fury over the line. Don't get me wrong, AJ I think is incredible, and AJ's now training with Usyk. He's really transformed his camp and his approach to boxing over the years, ever since, especially losing to Ruiz. Obviously, he lost to Usyk twice, but I think AJ used to be very like power. Now he's more technical and speed. But I think Fury's got the better boxing IQ. He's got the better boxing technique in a sense. But I do think AJ has the power. I think Fury's obviously definitely got power. And if AJ catches Fury on the button on anyone's day, if you catch him on the button, if it's your day, it's your day. Especially in heavyweight boxing, if you get caught on the button, it can be good and Irene. If you look at, one of them could be dominating the fight and just get caught with that shot. If you look at Wilder when he was fighting Luis Ortiz, for example, Luis Ortiz was up in that fight. He was, in a sense, dominating the fight, winning ahead on rounds, and Wilder was caught with that big shot. So, yeah, I think gut instinct, I think Fury. I think, in a sense, like I say, for me, it's the best time outside them both having the belt / working to positions to unify the division and fighting each other. I think it's happening post at the best time it could have been. I think if it had been a year or a couple of years later, post 2026, it might have felt too late. I've seen sort of mixed reviews so far. Earlier now, in the early responses, people excited, some people saying, friends I've spoken to saying, is it sad and I'm really bothered about it, this, that and the other. I get that, I do get it, but for me, I am excited, and I think however people feel about it, they're going to tune in. They are going to tune in. They are both in the twilight of their careers in a sense, like not into the mid to late 30s. Obviously we saw, in a sense, with Wilder versus Chisora a few months ago, sort of the week before Tyson Fury's last fight. Hell of a fight, absolute warriors, went out on the shields. Chisora, Wilder's put shots in, Chisora just didn't stop walking forward for 12 rounds. It was incredible to see, but you could tell they're in the later years of the career, to put it respectfully. So for me, yeah, initial thoughts on AJ Fury. I'm excited, I'm buzzing, it's finally seemingly happening, but there is that sort of, what AJ's words hang over in a sense of like, and I do get it, and I sort of feel it's like until the contract's signed, until we see them in the ring and that first bell's rang, there's always that feeling of will it, won't it, especially like if they've sort of been there before. I think this is the closest it's ever been to happening, to going ahead. So I do hope it happens. I'll be tuning in 100%. If I'm blessed and lucky enough to be able to get a ticket somehow, I will do my best to get a ticket to go to that. Like I say, whether it's to sit on the gods, just to feel the atmosphere, because I feel like it's an event that's only going to happen once. Maybe there'll be a rematch clause because how big the fight is. Obviously, that talks and to have a rematch, and obviously both of them have got great pride, you know, in the legacy and in themselves. So if one of them's most likely going to lose, there could be a draw, obviously, but one of them's most likely going to lose, and it might be in the contract. There is a rematch, and then if it goes to 1-1, there'll be a decider fight, because you know it's always going to be big money, and always going to draw eyes. And it's on Netflix, so it's a global audience, which is going to draw even more. And we've seen what the Jake Paul fights do, for example. You know, the numbers he's pulling in. You know, I think the days of pay-per-view, as it used to be in the UK, you used to have to pay like 20-25 quid for Sky, whereas Netflix, you know, you pay your subscription per month and you get instant access, which I think is a good package and model. Because I know things like DAZN, you pay for a monthly membership, but for the big fights you have to pay for that pay-per-view in a sense. So in the UK, and I feel like maybe a global shift is happening, that it's going more streaming services, and for me, I'm all for it in playing that. If it stays like the Netflix current model of paying that monthly rate, and it can be just a base package, and you can still access it. It wouldn't surprise me in the future if they change it to more DAZN's model, where it's like you have to pay an additional fee, or if there's a certain subscription where only premium live events come with it. So instead of the base $5.99, you have to pay $9.99. It's base plus premium events. It wouldn't shock me, but anyway, I don't want to put the ideas in Netflix's head, because I'm enjoying it. It's like with the wrestling. WWE over in the UK is on Netflix. I enjoy, you know, being able to freely watch that, whereas before it was on Sky Sports, and I didn't have Sky, so we didn't have Sky, so couldn't access it. But yeah, so I think buzzing is finally happening. And final thoughts to summarise and wrap it up. Buzzing Fury versus AJ has been confirmed. Hopefully it goes ahead. Hopefully it's in the UK at Wembley in London. It'd be interesting to see what date it is. It'd be interesting to see the clauses of the contract, if there's a rematch, anything like that, a rematch clause or anything like that. My initial prediction is that Fury wins it. I don't know if it'll be a knockout, but I just think Fury's got that something within him, that animal in him, you just can't teach someone. But again, heavyweight boxing, if one of them gets caught at a big shot, it can change everything. So yeah, I think for me, Fury wins it, but his boxing IQ and his just that natural, I don't even know what you want to call it, within him will carry him through it. But never count AJ out. Never count AJ out. I love AJ. I love Fury. I won't be rooting for one more than the other. I'm just excited to see it, and hopefully it's one of the all-time great fights. You know, on par with, for example, Fury versus Wilder trilogy. You know, like that level of fight where they just leave it all in the ring at the end of the day, shake hands, walk away knowing that the two of the greatest British boxers to come out of this country. And in this generation, and that they represented and carried themselves and the country proud. So yeah, can't wait to see it. Can't wait to find out when it is, what the stipulations, clauses, etc. are around it, when it is, what date it is, and hopefully, if I'm lucky and can afford it, maybe even get to go. But then tickets will be like gold dust. They'll be like rocking horse shit. But yeah, that's my initial thoughts. So yeah, let me know what you think. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be exciting. Looking forward to it.